What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today is actually a collaboration beer, this time between the Thin Man Brewery, and they are out of Buffalo, New York, and the Other Half Brewing Company, and they are headquartered in Brooklyn, New York. And this is their Tmavý Ležák. So they're calling this one a Czech-style Dark Lager that comes in at 4.7% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is approximately 5 weeks old. So I apologize for the terrible pronunciation of the name of this beer, but it basically translates to dark lager in English, which makes sense. This is a Czech-style dark lager. And I picked this one up and I wanted to review it because you don't see a lot of Czech-style dark lagers and dark lagers in general packaged in cans or bottles. Typically, if you see an American brewery brew something like this, it's usually on tap. So the fact that Thin Man and Other Half collaborated on this one, really excited about it. So yeah, not much more to say. Let's crack it open and get it into the glass and we'll see what's up with this one. So yeah, I mean, I've probably had only like a handful of Czech-style dark lagers in my life, honestly. So really excited about this one. So there you go. Nice little pour there. I'm expecting something, hopefully, that is super easy to drink and flavorful, like kind of like, not exactly, but kind of like a English dark mild, something like that, you know, but lagered. So yeah, that has, on camera, it's probably going to look more like a dark brown or maybe like a mahogany in person. That's what it is. But on the side here, there is like mahogany and like lightish or red tinges. Can't really see through it too much, only on the edges. Had about a finger of a tan head that is now dissipated to about a half finger. But yeah, looks nice. Looks like a dark lager of some sort. Let's get a nose. That's really nice. So we get a little bit of lager funk. A touch of like the sulfur. But then there's a lot of malt character. There's toffee. There's coffee. A little bit of caramel. Toasted brown bread. There's like a toasty kind of element. Very small hints of like dark fruits, like a raisin. Maybe a red fruit too, like an apple. It just smells like it's going to be so, like, it's weird because I'm smelling it. And if I was doing this blind, I would think a lager of some sort because that funkiness, that like sulfur-esque lager funk is there. But I wouldn't probably say like a Czech-style dark lager just because I haven't drank enough of them. Man, it smells really good. Not much more to say about it. It's not, here's the thing, it's not like overly complex, but there's still a complexity to the malt character here. There's maybe a slight earthy kind of hop note, but for the most part, this is malt heavy. So anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Fucking really good. It's a really good beer. Wow, it's really nice. So, it's funny. To me, it has the soul of like a Czech-style Pilsner, but with more of like a darker kind of malt presence, right? So it's like a combination of like a Pilsner and then like a, it's like you combined it with like a Bock or something, you know? It just has those sort of characteristics that are like intertwining. Let's go body and mouthfeel. For something that's 4.7%, this is like, you would deem this, I think, full-bodied for this style. For 4.7% dark lager, like you would totally say, man, that has a fuller body on it. In the grand scheme of things, this is like medium body, but still really big for 4.7%. So the body itself is really nice. The mouthfeel, while crisp on the palate, certainly at the tip of the palate or on the tongue, tip of the tongue, you get that carbonation, but as it passes through the palate, it just turns into this really smooth sensation. And that's kind of what you're left with on the finish as far as the mouthfeel goes. The taste, like I said, it's like you took Czech-style Pilsner and married it with a Bock or something. There's a lot of like bready notes to this from the malt. There's toasted white bread, toasted brown bread, a lot of toffee and caramel. There's a little bit of like a coffee roast. It almost has like a toasty into roasty, but it doesn't quite reach roasty like you would get from like a German Schwarzbier or maybe just like a stout or something. It's approaching that, but never quite get to that level. There's a little bit of like a red apple core, more of like a fruity essence in general too. Maybe touch of like a berry or something. Just so in the nose, I was like, this is not overly complex. In the taste, the malt character is just screaming complexity. It's really cool. Halfway through the palate, and it continues down in the finish, I'm hit with this earthy, almost slightly spicy component, more earthy, and that carries on to the back and on the finish. Finishes semi to full on dry, almost no bitterness, extremely well balanced. All that malty sweet goodness at the forefront kind of devolves into that dryness on the back of the palate, makes you want to go back for more, which I have been this entire review. Yeah, just really, it's fucking really good. That's what this is. It's a really tasty beer. It's tough for me now to review lagers because, again, I'll always say this when it comes to lagers, whether it's Pilsners or Helles lagers or something like this, they're never going to be my favorite style. But they're growing on me to the point where I'm fucking enjoying this a lot, like a lot. I cannot stress enough how much I enjoy this one. This would be, and I've said this before, like, you know, recently over the past 2, 3, 4 years, you know, lagers have made a comeback. Certainly when it comes to craft and you have tons of places producing Pilsners and Helles lagers, those seem to be the ones that really get gain traction in the craft beer world. For me though, give me something like this that has more malt character that I like, darker malt character. Or like when I reviewed the from Big Ditch, their Dark English Mild. Like, give me those. I like the toffee, the brown bread, the caramel, the butterscotch. I like those malt characters more than just the breadiness. Although, you know, I do dig them from Helles's. I don't know, I'm all over the place. But let me just say, I'd rather have a dark lager than a regular lager when it comes to craft produced lagers. So this is more my speed, more in my wheelhouse, 4.7%. You're not expected to taste alcohol, and you don't. This is super crushable. Not much more to say about it. I'm really digging this one a lot. It's just really well made. So Tmavý Ležák, I believe that is correct. Probably not. A collaboration between Thin Man and Other Half. I'm going to go high 4.25. I'm going to go 4.3 out of 5. That's how much I like this. The only other lager recently that got a high rating like this was the Helles lager. Forget the brewery, sent to me by a good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Kenny. Forget the brewery, but their Helles, it was Chicago. They produce mostly like European styles. It was awesome. Best Helles lager I've had. This is right up there with that beer in terms of how much I enjoy it. So price and availability, I paid like $2.79 for that can. I believe 4 packs were $9.99 all fucking day long. Sans, all day long. $10 for a 4-pack of that is fucking great. Great. Availability. Here's where I don't know. Thin Man has been getting a lot of distro all over the place. I think they've shown up in Georgia. They've shown up in New England. They've shown up there's a bunch of places. I've seen friends that are out of state on tap being like, oh, we got Thin Man now. They get in Pennsylvania and I think Ohio, all bunch of places, right? But this is a part, and I don't know if this shows up on camera, but it says small batch. And I think these small batch series don't make distro. And if they do, they don't get that far, I don't think. So if you have seen this one in your neck of the woods, or you picked it up and you drank it, and you bought it locally and you're not here in West New York, Buffalo, Rochester, or even in New York State, let me know, because I'd be curious to see how far this made it out, but I don't think it gets really outside the area. I could be wrong. I am wrong. It's the Beer Patrol. That's what I do, but pretty sure. Anyway, really good beer. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Please post in the comment section. Tell me what you thought about this one, because it's not that I'm blown away from this beer or blown away by this beer. It's just, I go into these beers, I'm like, that's a 4.7% Czech-style Dark Lager. I'm sure it's going to be good. This is really tasty. Like, almost got into a 4.5 range for me. And I don't give 4.5s out a lot, especially when it comes to lagers. So the fact that this got a 4.3 just speaks volumes about how much I appreciate and think this beer is delicious. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Check back next Wednesday. I know what the beer that I'm going to be reviewing is going to be from Big Ditch, a part of their Beer That Tastes Like Beer series. It is their Helles lager. So we'll see how another beer within that series is tasting. I'm really excited about that one because, again, the last Helles lager I had from that Chicago brewery that I can't remember because I'm super fucking old was delicious. I can't wait to get that one. Anyway, till the next one. Cheers.